1 lakh tests per day are being done in India right now, and a total of 18,56,477 tests have been conducted so far. And this data is till today morning. And 352 government and 142 private laboratories have been doing the tests as of now. Maybe a few more which are not accounted or which have not declared about their status. So you see in India, confirmed cases you can see, and number of deaths. This is alarming. 7,000, more than 7,000 now. And in Telangana itself, we have 123 deaths about this virus. So don't think that we can evade this viral. Okay. So there are certain other innovations that are in progress apart from these diagnostics tests. In fact, CCMB has been supporting, CCMB has actually supported 6 of the innovations in this regard. We have paid some money to them so that they can carry forward their money. This is a grant of 2 lakhs for them. They are using RT-PCR. They are making RT-PCR based diagnostic kits, LF based rapid POC testing for COVID-19, and most of the things for COVID-19 CCMB is supporting. So apart from that, Human Life Sciences is something that I wanted to grab your attention for. This is a Hyderabad based company, my close friend's company. I'm very happy for them because they have utilized, both of them are biotechnologists, by the way. So you can also think in those lines that why go the regular academic way, and think in those lines to go for the startup business, to go for some innovative ideas, because we really need it at this point of time. Okay, so Human Life Sciences have actually made an affordable indigenous rapid diagnostic kit for COVID-19, and Telangana government has actually accepted their kit, and now they have ordered 1 lakh kits from Human Life Sciences, and most of the kits that you will be finding in most of the private labs or government labs here will be the Human Life Sciences kit. Very proud moment for us as being in Telangana. What people are doing is, people are not just concentrating on the regular diagnostics of COVID-19. They are also helping us in assistive technologies. For example, Mediotech has actually made one wrist-based of wearable devices, medical grade, which screens the major risk parameters for COVID-19. This is also very important, right? When you are in an ICU or when you are in the general wards, they can keep on monitoring like this, and then you can, they actually monitor the oxygen level in your blood. As I told you, that if it infects the lung, the oxygen transfer is hampered. And if that is hampered, then the oxygen concentration will be very low in your blood. So this is what it actually detects. Okay. Then there is one, Blackfog has made one Amvolio, which is a portable medical grade refrigerator to transport the virus samples. So innovations are not just happening in the field of particular diagnostics, but also in assistive technologies. Now coming to the vaccine strategies. What happens in case of viruses, I'll just show you a little bit of basic information about this. This particular SARS virus, the spike protein is actually targeting this ACE2 receptor. Okay, if you can see it here. So what happens once it comes, it binds with the ACE2 receptor and the virus enters the human cell before it is protected by the human immune system. This is how it actually evades the immune system. Okay. Now, what strategy can we use? We can make some spike protein or fragment of spike protein as additional elements, and then we can leave it in our body, okay, right before the virus infection happens. So it will already occupy the ACE2 receptor, and if it is occupying, the virus cannot come and sit. If there are only 4 seats in the room and there are 5 people, 4 are already sitting, another people who are coming cannot sit there, right? So the same ways the virus cannot come and enter the cells. But with the ACE2 receptor occupied, but what happens is, this receptor is used by most of the signaling pathways in our body. So most of our vital functions will be hampered. We don't want that, right? So this strategy may or may not work. Second strategy, we can have antibodies against ACE2 so that it again goes and binds there and blocks it, and then the spike protein cannot come. But again, the same problem. Blocking a functional channel would result in adverse side effects for our body, right? Third strategy, we can have ACE2 extracellular domain, okay? ACE2 ka jo this is the extracellular domain, so we can have extracellular domain there. So it will go and bind to the spike protein of the virus, like this. It will bind to the spike proteins of the virus, and it will cage it up. Once it is caged, it can't go and bind to the ACE2 receptors. Right, so this is a valid strategy that can be utilized. Then there is one more strategy that can be utilized, similar to the spike protein, similar to the ACE2 receptor protein binding. nanobodies against the binding region of the spike protein, only the binding region. Okay, so again, this will also occupy the binding region of the spike protein here, like this, and it can prevent us from interaction of the spike protein with the ACE2 receptors. Okay, and it can also induce a neutralizing immune response in our body. So it will be a dual action. So these are the things that we can actually use for vaccine strategies. But in case of therapy, if we don't talk about the vaccines, if we talk only about the viral therapy, there are antiviral agents which are being used now. Okay, lopinavir, ripavin, remdesivir. These are broad spectrum. These are broad spectrum antiviral activity with improved pulmonary function and reduced viral load. So there are two ways of removing the virus. One is you remove the viral load, you decrease the viral load, and second is you kill the virus. Okay, so in this case, first we have to decrease the viral load, and then we have to kill the remaining one, because for example, you have 3 glasses of water. Okay, you have 5 people to drink water, right? Once 2 people leave, then you can fulfill the need of the 3 people, right? The same way, body has a limited capacity. So if we are trying to fight with that capacity with all this much of big of virus, we will not be able to do that, right? So we need to decrease the viral load first. So most of them are in phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials. 34 trials have already been done. So we are not sitting idle. We the scientists, we're not sitting idle. We're actually doing our job. And I'm sure that we are going to hear something good in near future. Chloroquine and hydrochloroquine, you have heard about this, has been utilized, is being utilized in most of the cases, and we heard a lot of statements from Trump saying that, oh, it works wonders. We had been exporting hydroxychloroquine from India to Pakistan, to China, to Spain, as well as to US. Have you ever heard that we have been using it? We don't use it, right? It's there's a reason for it. Okay, so chloroquine is widely used anti-malarial drug. Okay, so most of the Indian population has been exposed to malarial infection in our childhood, for sure. Half of us must have had malaria in our childhood. And once the malarial parasite enters the cell, what it does is it alters the ACE2 receptor. Now you can build the story around it. This is the plasmid. This is the ACE2 receptor. It comes, as soon as it enters, it alters the ACE2 receptor. Now when this virus, COVID-2 comes, it wants to use the ACE2 receptor, but the ACE2 receptor is not in a good position to hold this virus. That's how it is unable to enter. So this is what people have been telling, that this may be because of the herd immunity, and you must be hearing all these, right? That Indian population is actually quite immune to this virus, but not like that. Okay. So it actually increases the endosomal pH condition in our body, the chloroquine and hydrochloroquine. Okay, so then the virus cannot fuse with the cell, with the ACE2 receptor. So this is how the mechanism of action of this particular drug is. So this can be used as one of the strategies for treating the virus. There are some corticosteroids which can also be used, but what happens is when people have been given this corticosteroids, viral load was decreased, but then the need for being on ventilation increased in such cases. So this is not a very recommended therapy, but yes, you can decrease the viral load with this particular corticosteroids. Antibodies, as I say, can be used against the virus, and if you can see here, like neutralizing antibody, just like that, we have the ACE2 receptor, and this antibody can be used as vaccines. Most of the people are actually exploiting this particular strategy for generating vaccine against the virus. But the monoclonal antibodies can only recognize a single antigen epitope. That is the problem, right? Because we are generating it against one single antigen epitope, it will only go and see that. If that epitope, the virus is smart, I said, if that epitope is not there, we cannot recognize any of these epitopes. Okay, so that is one big problem with this. Convalescent plasma transfusion. We have been talking about plasma therapy in most of the news channels. What it is actually, when a patient is infected of COVID, and if the patient recovers from there, the body will have some antibodies, and these antibodies in the plasma are actually taken out and given to the another patient. So in this way, you can actually help the body, the other person's body, to generate the antibodies or to use those antibodies, already made antibodies, for fighting against the virus. But there is a limitation that it should be collected within 2 weeks after recovery to ensure a high neutralizing antibody type. Right? Because in our body, the antibodies keep on circulating for a period of 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then when the body feels that, oh, we are unnecessarily circulating in the body, we don't need there is no virus, why do we need to circulate? Then they slowly dissolve up, right? This is how the memory cells work, right? So the plasma cells will stop the production of these antibodies. So this is the problem with the plasma therapy. We have to collect the plasma only within 2 weeks. So it's not that I had an infection in February and now I can give the plasma. It's not like that. Okay. So vaccines generally are targeting the spike glycoprotein or the S protein, and mRNA COVID-19 vaccine known as mRNA 1273 is ready for human testing. Okay. So important thing for you again to note. So oral vaccines have already been under clinical trials till now. Now again, assistive technologies for helping the aiding the therapy for virus. Avyantra, a non-invasive ventilation they have made. These are all Indian. Everything is Indian here. Okay, these are all they are not sitting idle. So DOSI, which is a remote vital parameter monitoring for COVID-19. So what happens is, this is a belt kind of thing. I have personally seen this in front of my eyes in one of the conferences when I went. This belt kind of thing goes inside the bed, goes below the bed linen. Okay, and the patient happily sleeps. He or she may not even come to know that something is there beneath the bed, and it actually collects all the vital information about your heart rate, about your breathing rate, your oxygen concentration, your airflow, everything within your body. Okay, same non-invasive ventilation in which you don't have to insert anything within the throat, and then you can use this as a ventilation system. Then there are some antiviral sprays that are being made, some air sanitizers are being made to be put in lifts or maybe some heavily crowded malls or cinema halls or places where people may not be following social distancing or may not be in a position to follow social distancing. Okay, then there are some disinfectant sprays there. So all these things are going on. Coming to the vaccine trials, we don't know from where it is going to come. Is it going to come from Israel or Oxford University, UK, Netherlands? Who knows? India itself. Maybe some of you think of some innovative idea to generate some vaccines against this virus. So if we talk about the status of this vaccine, the Oxford COVID-19 vaccine has moved to phase 2 and phase 3 human trials. This is the recent report till yesterday, which I'm giving you. Okay, and there are 10,260 adults and children who are undergoing this trial. Then the first human trial of COVID-19 vaccine is quite safe, has been seen. This is the Oxford Wala vaccine. And it induces rapid immune response so that you can clear the viral load easily. Then this coronavirus DNA vaccine, known as INO 4800, shows promising results in treating COVID-19 in animal models, and now human trials are going to start for this. Okay. One major development in COVID-19 is that the placentas from COVID-19 positive mothers has been shown to have injury in that, so thereby restricting the blood flow from the mother to the baby, which is a very dangerous thing. We really need to think something about this. Especially the pregnant women and the family members around her should refrain from meeting any second person or touching any surface or going out from their houses. A very, very important point. Okay. Then results from the phase 3 clinical trial of remdesivir. You must have heard a lot of jokes about Trump naming remdesivir mask, and you wear gloves and then you don't touch anything else. You just do your work and then throw your gloves and you go home. One case. Second case is you are reluctant to wear the masks and you are thinking that, array, till now I did not get affected. How will I get affected now? There are two cases, right? So in the first case, what happens is you have to wear this mask daily. Okay, now you're wearing it. You are breathing the same air inside this mask. So the level of CO2 will keep on increasing in your blood. You will get dizziness. It is not advisable at all. Okay. And if you don't wear the mask, of course, you are at the highest risk. So in my personal opinion, complete no-no for institutions and cinema halls, for that matter, shopping malls also. So don't think of opening it. Okay. Okay. Is there any chance there is increasing of COVID-19 cases in rainy as weather and the temperature will decrease? Yes. Chances will be high. In regular influenza virus also, the chances are high when the rainy season is there, right? So you get cold. So keep yourself warm, have warm fluids, drink lot of tea or coffee or maybe hot water for that matter, and you shall be fine. So just be careful about that. Okay, how effective is external ACE2 receptor for trapping the virus? External ACE2 receptor, I am unable to understand the question. If you can just elaborate a little bit, I shall be able to explain. Okay, so there is another question. Ma'am, is this virus airborne? If so, how could you predict the seriousness of the situation? No, the virus is not airborne. Till now, the aerosol transmission of this particular virus is not known, but the droplet infection is known. So when you are sneezing with a very harsh sneeze, so this maybe I can tell in the ativegam to vastadi kada, a virus, a droplet to vachestadi. So it will come with the droplet. So the infection, that's why they are asking you to keep a little distant so that you cannot come in close contact with the droplets. It is not airborne virus. Till now, it's not known. Okay, till when you expect this pandemic to extend? Is it after 100% population is affected? After that, no. I think the widespread infection that has happened is also because we have been irresponsible. Only reason, we had been very irresponsible. Okay, most of the things what happens is you had been in the lockdown period for a month or two, you enjoyed happily, your mother's cooked in home, your sisters cooked different dishes at home, you were watching all Netflix, Amazon Prime, every movie you have watched, you are very happy. After 2 months, you are unable to sit at home. You come out, you want your friend to come out with you, because alone you can't enjoy, because there is nothing in the market to enjoy. So you want your friend to come with you. You make him sit on your bike and you go. Where is social distancing? Who is responsible? So we have to be careful, right? That is the main reason behind this. Government hospital is planning to open all public services. It will be situation. If so, how the population will be affected? Yeah. So be careful. I had been to market yesterday, day before yesterday on Saturday. I went outside and I went to the airport a day before and on Saturday as well. And then outside every shop, there's a sanitizer. Sanitize your hands, go inside, try to touch minimum things. Don't touch all the surfaces, sit like this, or happily, don't do like this. Wear your mask, stay away from the shopkeeper. You can happily do all your work. I don't think this is going to worry us a lot. Maintain social distancing. That is the most important thing. If you think that you are corona patient and you can infect everybody, stay away. And if you have to think that, and you also have to think that every other person in the world is corona patient, so just stay away from them. That is the simplest way to save yourself. Okay, if a person is having a viral flu, there might be interferons present in the body. Will that delay the COVID infection to a certain extent? I don't think so. Because see, the ACE2 receptor will be utilized by the flu virus, and then the virus will be internalized. Again, the ACE2 receptor will be there only, present. Once you open the door for a guest and you close it, the other guest has all the chance to come in, So it is the same way. It is not. Yeah, but if you have already had an infection of coronavirus once and then you again get it, then there are chances that you will be safe a little bit, because your antibodies will already be there in the body. Your memory cells will immediately start making the antibody within a day or two. So that way you can save. The papers are telling that a new mutant strain called A3 has been in India, especially Telangana, Madhya Pradesh. What do you say about it? Yes, it is there. A new clad, CCMB's research itself, a new clad is circulating now, and it will be, we need to check what are the differences between the receptor binding domain, because that is where the virulency actually affects. After the infection, our body, just a moment, I'm unable to see the whole. The scientific reason behind the pandemics for every century. No, I don't know. I can't deny it. I can't say yes to it also. I have no clue about it. Our body will be immunized because of the mutates, and again the situation will be the same. Yes. Yes, that is true. I told you, right, that if mutation happens, then it will be difficult. Initially, there was no cases of abdominal binding of the virus, but now there are cases of abdominal binding. So it will be difficult for us to, be safe from that virus once we have been infected also. About the... Okay, so please, college, don't conduct exams. This is what they are asking for me to tell you, not to conduct exams. Okay, so don't conduct exams. Conduct online exam. I hope they are okay with this. Okay, so she says that will the case decrease after vaccine is released? I can't say that much because the vaccine will be released, but how accessible it will be for us, it will be difficult to say. Because in a country like India, we are quite underprivileged, and I don't think all of us will get the vaccine shots. So we have to be still careful. What is RT-PCR? Why is RT-PCR not showing highest efficiency in detection process? Okay, I told you, right? The contamination may be there because it involves a lot of steps, and then the it involves RNA isolation step, and RNA gets degraded very fast. So if you delay the RT and cDNA processes, then RNA isolation and cDNA processes, then it will be difficult for us to say anything because the RNA may have been degraded. There will be no cDNA, no RT-PCR. So then what you will think? There was no RNA. It will give a negative result, but the patient may be having a corona infection. Okay, what about the asymptomatic person? Yeah, it is very difficult to say anything about the asymptomatic person. That's what I said, that we all should consider ourselves as COVID patients. We have to be away from every other person. People say this is kind of biowar started by China. How far do you support that? I support completely, 102%. I support this statement. I don't have proof to say that, but I have been a virologist. I have worked in BSL-3 laboratory. I know how the virus can spread from one place to another, but I don't think that this kind of global spread can happen with a non-aerosol mediated virus transmission within a month. I don't think that the whole world can be affected. Oh, every other Chinese was so harboring the virus that they can, whichever country they went, they could infect everybody. I don't think so. I think it's a virus. And infect to other person. Oh, I'm sorry, I could not understand the question. If you can just elaborate. Anything else? Unknowingly, you have skipped. What did I skip? Oh my God. Some questions. Can you please read them back?
One question, madam. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell me.
Madam, if humans do develop immunity with the help of vaccines, how long does it last? As immunity short-lived for the coronavirus that causes common colds? And what kind of response should vaccine developers look for, madam? Kindly enlighten on that.
I think we need to take shots again and again, like how we do for the tetanus. So I think we need to have booster doses periodically. For example, whenever the season is there or the temperature is coming down, we need to take the shots, the booster doses for this particular vaccine as well. I don't think that this is going to just a one-time go that you have taken a vaccine, now you are free for every time. It's not like that. We can't say like that. We have to have the booster doses every time you have the fever or you have the temperature difference in the country. You have to have the doses.
Thank you, ma'am, for patiently taking up the question and answer session. Now, I request Ms. Shweta to propose vote of thanks. Over to Shweta.
So, good morning, everyone. We put on record and acknowledge Dr. Ira Bhatnagar for readily accepting our invitation and considering the speaker for the webinar. I sincerely thank her for bringing out theranostics, therapeutics, and vaccine research on COVID-19, prospects, and challenges. My thanks are also due to her for patiently taking up the question and answer session. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you, Shweta.